In today's Vishwa Talk, we have Miss G.N. Padmaja, who is fondly recognized as environment evangelist due to her immense work in the field of environment. Padmaja is known for her warmth and dedication, serving as Charter Secretary of the Rotary Club of Abhyuday, Hyderabad. She holds a mechanical engineering degree from Srinidhi Institute of Science and Technology and postgraduate diploma in marketing and operations from Kirloskar Institute of Advanced Management Studies. Her career focuses on the automobile sector, specifically in the heavy commercial vehicle industry with significant roles at Ashok Leyland and Tata Motors. Ms. Padmaja has expertise in international operations, brand strategy, product development, and channel management. Her dedication to preserving our planet is evident through her involvement in numerous sustainable projects, such as initiatives like electronic waste drives, Save the House Sparrow, and End Plastic Soup. She combines her passion for community service with her marketing acumen, making her a force for positive change. Ms. Padmaja is married to Mr. Naga Suresh, a propulsion scientist at DRDO, and they have twin boys, Sumuk and Shanmuk. Her life reflects a balance of professional dedication, environment advocacy, and personal happiness. So, as we dive into today's interesting discussion, I would like to inform the audience that our speaker will be taking the questions from you after the main talk. So, please leave your questions in the chat box or use raise hand tool. We will allow you to ask your questions in person. So, without further ado, let us welcome our speaker, Ms. G.N. Padmaja Garu, to share her insights with us. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Radhika. And good morning, everyone, on a leisure Saturday morning in understanding lakes and their importance. Before we begin speaking about lakes, which are nature's guardians, and before we talk about how we protect them and secure our own future, Hollywood sensation Julia Roberts has a very interesting message for all of you, for all of us. So let's first play that video. Over to you, Radhika.
Some call me nature. Others call me Mother Nature. I've been here for over 4.5 billion years. 22,500 times longer than you. I don't really need people, but people need me. Yes, your future depends on me. When I thrive, you thrive. When I falter, you falter. Or worse. But I've been here for eons. I have fed species greater than you, and I have starved species greater than you. My oceans, my soil, my flowing streams, my forests, they all can take you or leave you. How you choose to live each day, whether you regard or disregard me, doesn't really matter to me. One way or the other. Your actions will determine your fate, not mine. I am nature. I will go on. I am prepared to evolve. Are you?
Yes. So once again, welcome to the talk on lakes, which are nature's climate guardians. And let's discuss, let's keep more of it like a dialogue. You can type in your responses in the chat box. We will discuss how we protect our ecosystems and also create a sustainable future for ourselves, our city, and our next generation. Well, um, rivers have always been lifelines of civilization. Rivers and lakes have always drawn settlers because rivers provide foundational resource for human endeavors. Can you guess which is the oldest civilization in the world? Can I see responses in the chat box? Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, which was the oldest civilization, and on which river banks did they exist? Yes, Indus Valley. Very nice. Pramila Raj. And can you guess which river? Sindh River. Correct. Also called popularly known as the Indus River, is the source for a thriving civilization like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. Mesopotamia is again a very ancient civilization that existed on a river bank. Can you guess which river again? Yes, you can please share the screen, Radhika. Yes, Tigris and Euphrates. Mr. Prasad, you rightly answered. It's Tigris and Euphrates. And Egyptian civilization flourished on which river bank? Absolutely fantastic. So Nile has been a river which has supported the agriculture greatly. So Egyptian civilization on Nile River and the mighty Cholas existed on the banks of river Kaveri. So Kaveri valleys were very fertile and Cholas rose to power, to prominence, and they extended their dynasty across the, Sri Lanka and Maldives from Kaveri River. So it's no surprising thing that civilizations have flourished on rivers and lakes, and hence they're very important. Can we move to the next slide? Yes, again, quiz time. So let us do a quick quiz. Fastest finger first. So which is the largest freshwater lake in India? Can you guess? The answer is right on the screen, on to the left. Largest freshwater lake in India. This place is called the Traveler's Paradise. It's called the Switzerland of India. Dal Lake, not really. You're close. Manas Sarovar, not really. Well, let me give out the answer. It's Wular Lake. Absolutely. Ganga Rana, you're right. So Wular Lake is the largest freshwater lake in India, and lake that has famous floating islands. Mitra Day has answered it's Loktak Lake. Yes, Loktak Lake has floating islands. You see that green soil mass, the vegetation, that is called Fumdis, and they float on the lake, Loktak Lake, and they host the Kibul Lamjau Floating National Park, which is the only floating national park in the world. And which is the highest lake in India? Highest lake in India. One clue is that it is located in the northeast. Yes, that is in Sikkim. Gurudongmar Lake. Which is the largest lake in the world? Oh, I've written the answer there, Caspian Sea. Though it's a sea, though it is Caspian Sea, it's actually a lake. And which is the saltiest lake in the world? Any guesses? Saltiest lake in the world. Not Red Sea. Its capital is Istanbul. Yes, Dead Sea is the saltiest lake, second largest saltiest lake. But first one is in Turkey. It's called Lake Van. Lake Van in Turkey is the saltiest lake in the world. Well, now our favorite question, which everybody knows the answer, which is the lake in Hyderabad that is artificial and more than 450 years old. Afroz answered it right, Hussain Sagar. Well, all of you get brownie points for answering it right. Let's move on. Next slide, please. Yes. All of us understand the significance of lakes. Lakes provide water, not just for agriculture, domestic purposes. Lakes basically make water accessible. And across the world, there were many dams that were built, hydroelectric power stations built across the lakes. They also help in flood prevention and water flow harmony. All of us understand that lakes act like sponges during rainfall. They absorb water during rainy season, and during dry season, they release water slowly. And they also act as climate moderator. Lakes like Hussain Sagar have not just catered to the water needs of city, but they've also moderated the climate due to a phenomena called lake effect, where cold, dry air passes through the warm waters of a lake. It leads to cloud formation, precipitation, and you know the rest of the story. They also are critical habitats for various species. Lakes act like a migratory stopover for birds, for many migratory birds. Throughout during the rest of the presentation, we will see how they support critical habitats for various species. They also maintain food chains, and of course, they purify water and mainly help in groundwater recharge. Can you identify any of the lakes on the right side? Right side, the first lake, the top lake, is a glacial lake. It is in the Himalayas, and this lake is of glacial origin. That means whenever the snow melts from these mountains, it forms a lake at the lower catchment area. And the one on the left, where you see those round spots, that is not Pangong Lake, but that is no, that's not Solamu Lake. That is Canada Spotted Lake. This lake is known for its therapeutic properties. It is not allowed to do any recreational activities in the lake, but the local tribe owns the lake, the local community, the local tribe manages the lake, and it is revered and prayed for its therapeutic properties. Well, moving on. Next slide, please. Yes. Now, let us take stock of the current situation of our lakes. Let's take stock of our lakes across the globe. I have taken just two examples, Lake Urmia and Aral Sea, because their stories are very, their stories raise alarm bells. For example, Lake Urmia. Can you guess where Lake Urmia is? Lake Urmia. Lake Urmia is in the current day Iran. So you can see NASA's satellite images on the left side. The green patch that you see in the 2020 picture is the size of the lake. It is one of the world's largest saltwater lakes, Iran's largest wetland, and world's fourth largest saltwater lake. And a lake of that stature, Lake Urmia, has shrunk to just 10% of its size and is holding only 5% of world water. 5% of its water that it used to originally hold. So Lake Urmia has been dried up. The main reason for its shrinkage is because there were 13 rivers that used to enter Lake Urmia, and all those 13 rivers are dammed. Dams have been constructed. This led to the entire shrinkage of Lake Urmia. So what if a lake shrinks? How does it affect? One thing is the local economy has been hugely hit. Lake Urmia was a very popular tourist destination, and there were about 5 million people dependent on the local economy because of Lake Urmia, and all of them have been very badly hit. All the resorts have converted into ghost towns. Now, people just don't want to enter there. And what did it do to the health of residents? This hypersaline lake, after all the water shrunk, is creating dust storms. Whenever wind blows, there is a dust storm full of salt, and this is in turn creating respiratory problems in the residents, in the localites. Well, if this is the story of what it did to the humans, now imagine what it did to the local biodiversity. It had about 226 species of of birds that were present here. It was a migratory stop for birds, beautiful birds like flamingos, pelicans, and other migratory birds. The middle picture that you see is full of flamingos. Okay, it was one of their winter stop over here, and now all these 226 species have no support, and the numbers are gradually going down. Also, it is alleged that this lake bed is full of lithium, and the Chinese have started mining for lithium, which in turn is used in the electric vehicle industry, and it is heavily being mined. This place is being heavily mined. That is the story of Lake Urmia. And next, let's move on to Aral Sea. Can you guess where is Aral Sea? Well, is Aral Sea really a sea or a lake? Yes, it is a lake, true, and it's present in. Is anybody guessing? It's a Central Asian lake. Well, and this lake receives water from two rivers that origin in mountains, and these two rivers are Amu Darya and Sir Darya. Both of them flow from the mountains, cutting through a desert. They form a they collect water into a low-lying area, and that is called Aral Sea. This picture that you see on the extreme right, the green patch that you see is the Aral Sea in 2020, and it has shrunk to less than 10% of its size in the satellite image that you see on the right. So why did this lake shrink? Again, Amu Darya and Sir Darya have been diverted for agriculture purposes. There were dams constructed, and because of this, what is the impact? The impact is again on the local population. They have been very badly hit. Again, it is creating a lot of dust storms. It is a hypersaline lake, and it is impacting economy and ecology and human health. Well, next slide. Right. Now, let's come to the state of lakes in India. Now we see Wular Lake. I'm just trying to share my screen. Can I, Radhika?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Is this visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah. So, can you see Wular Lake as I pointed on the screen? The green patch?
Yes.
Yeah. So the light green patch is the entire Wular Lake. It used to be Wular Lake, and it has shrunk to this extent. The small green, dark green patch that you see is currently the Wular Lake. The sad part is that, first let's talk about the beauty of Wular Lake. All of us know it's located in, Kashmir. It is a paradise, a traveler's paradise, and it's called the Switzerland of India. Some people even say that it's more beautiful than Switzerland. And all the Kashmir valleys are known for its unprecedented raw beauty. And the lake has shrunk. Firstly, Wular Lake is very important in terms of biodiversity, and hence it is notified as a Ramsar wetland. It is known for its exotic and humongous amount of fish. And it's a freshwater habitat for migratory birds. But then what happened? As tourists increased here and there were many roads laid around the lake, and this led to a lot of heavy sedimentation into the lake. It led to a heavy eutrophication, and it's almost leading to the lake to shrink. This has unnecessary and very, more than what the lake can handle. It has such kind of heavy sediments in it, and there's a lot of untreated sewage that's entering Wular Lake, and hence it is shrinking. And what's with Dal Lake? Here, can you see Dal Lake at the bottom? Even this entire green patch used to be Dal Lake. Now it is just the streak. Dal Lake is very famous for its houseboats. It is famous for its terrace gardens developed by Mughals right in 16th and 17th century. But now even that lake is shrinking. One of the reasons is irresponsible tourism and, too much of commercial exploitation of these places. Let's move to Chilika Lake. So how many of us have visited Chilika? And where is it, by the way? Can you guess where is Chilika Lake? Anyone? Well, it is in Odisha, and Chilika is very famous for its pristine waters. It is also called as, bird watcher's paradise. Chilika Lake has the world's only freshwater Irrawaddy dolphins. This dolphin that you see on the top right corner is the Irrawaddy dolphin, and it is present only in Chilika Lake. And there are migratory birds coming in from Mongolia, Russia, Kazakhstan, Central Asia, and many other places to this Chilika Lake. And the number is humongous, 153 species. Also, 158 species of aquatic fish and prawns are said to be available in this lake. This lake has a small island called Nalabana Bird Sanctuary. And this lake has about 15 kinds of fish and prawns that fetch very good price in the export market, and hence they are commercially exploited, and there is a lot of unsustainable fishing practices that are going around the lake, and hence this lake is decreasing in size, and not just that, it is getting heavily polluted. Well, moving to Hussain Sagar, moving to the vanishing waters of Hyderabad. Hussain Sagar, are you excited or happy to look at the picture on the left? This is an old picture. This is an old picture of Hussain Sagar. And any guesses who built it? Who built the Hussain Sagar Lake? The Qutub Shahis built it, and it is named after Hussain Wali. It is built under the reign of Quli Qutub Shah, and it is built by Hussain Wali, and the lake is named after his name. And can you even imagine the stark contrast between the current day Hussain Sagar, Tank Bund Drive, and what you see here? So this is the erstwhile Hussain Sagar, and these are the canals. These are the canals that are leading to Hussain Sagar. Well, it was initially built to meet the water needs of the city. And this water quality started deteriorating when people started bathing, washing clothes, and for other recreational purposes. When the Hussain Sagar waters were used, the water quality started deteriorating. And there are 4 canals that you see here. This is one canal, and there are 4 other canals that are leading towards Hussain Sagar. So one comes from Kukatpalli, one comes from Banjara, one comes from Balakpur, and the other comes from Picket. All these nalas are right now, if you see here, the right side picture, the top right bottom picture, you see all these nalas are converted into sewage. lot of untreated sewage flows into Hussain Sagar. And what is the most famous activity at Hussain Sagar? One, we go for birthday celebrations. The next one is Ganesh immersion, of course. So Ganesh immersion, if you test water quality after Ganesh immersion, it is found that it is contaminated with a lot of heavy metals like lead, mercury, chromium, nickel, cobalt, etc. And it is also polluting the groundwater in and around areas about 20 kilometers from the lake. Also, after Dashera, the same situation. Lot of idol immersions are happening. And government has come up with sewage treatment plants and other aerators and fountains and stuff like that. But still, the situation continues to be pretty bad in Hussain Sagar. Next is Durgam Cheru. Again, in news for a lot of reasons. One of the most beautified lake, one of the lakes that attracted a lot of investment from the government in recent years. And Durgam Cheru is, all of us know that it used to be called the secret lake. This lake is situated between Banjara Hills, Jubilee Hills and Madhapur. And earlier it was a very scenic lake. There were a lot of rocks around it. And these rocks were about 2.5 billion years old. It is again a 15th century lake built by the Qutub Shahi dynasty. And it used to have a very pristine, clear and potable water in it. It is topographically located in such an area that water naturally flows into the Golconda Fort, and it used to cater to the water needs of the fort. Legend says that once when Mughals besieged the fort for 8 months, this Durgam Cheru has been supplying water to the Golconda Fort without any hassle. Everybody was able to survive, and this is a lifeline for Golconda Fort. And imagine, you can see the picture on the left. It is so pristine, full of rocks and lot of vegetation around. And now on the right side, in starking contrast, you see a picture of where scores of dead fish are lying on the waters. What is the reason? There are a lot of effluents that are being released into the Cheru, Durgam Cheru Lake, and it is creating a lot of toxicity in the waters. And also, most of the focus has been on beautification rather than river regeneration, lake regeneration. We understand that wildlife, humans, or anybody will get attracted to the quality of life and not to the decoration around it. So you can see how the waters got polluted and how untreated domestic and untreated industrial effluents into the lake have almost destroyed the lake. Well, Taj Banjara Lake. How many of us know that there is a lake in Taj Banjara? Well, this is a 1 kilometer lake in Taj Banjara, and it is being dumped with a lot of construction debris in and around the lake. And I just want to mention this, that a long time ago in 1905 or sometime, when Rabindranath Tagore visited Taj Banjara Lake, and also he went and saw the Durgam Cheru, he got so mesmerized that he wrote this poem. From the distance, though did appear, barricaded in rocky aloofness, timidly I crossed the rugged path, to find here all of a sudden an open invitation in the sky and friends embrace in the air. In an unknown land, the voice that seemed ever known revealed to me a shelter of loving intimacy. He wrote this, and he also said that had he not had the Vishwa Bharati to care for, he would have loved to settle down in a place like this. That was the glory and that was the pristineness of our lakes. Radhika, I think I lost. Are you able to see the screen?
Yeah, we can see. We can see Nacharam Cheruvu.
Yes. So, so here you see Nacharam Cheruvu. Well, it is not just one lake. It is a confluence of three lakes. Safilguda Lake, Mirzalguda Lake, and Nacharam Lake, and all of them flow into this Nacharam Cheruvu. So this is called, see, Hyderabad's topography is such that the lakes are interconnected. Okay, so it is documented by Nizams that there were about 60,000 lakes in Telangana and more than 4,000 lakes in Hyderabad alone. And most of them have been artificially built considering the topography of Hyderabad, the Deccan Plateau. So there were upper catchment areas and there's water flowing from upper catchment areas to the lower catchment areas. And here, if you see the Nacharam Cheruvu, it is also a confluence of three lakes. And now from this, the water flows into the Uppal Lake, and from there, water enters into the Musi River. So you can think that if I contaminate water somewhere in Tarnaka, how does it affect someone staying in Vijayawada? Because the topography has been so carved out that water flows from one lake to another. And largely, this has been destroyed by the Europeans because Nizams built the lake understanding the geography of the region, whereas Europeans were not aware of this, and they introduced the canal system, and most of it, it did damage to a large extent the present lake scenario in Hyderabad. So Nacharam Cheruvu is again brimming with a lot of froth. If you see on the left side, there is frothing here. And this is all because of the industrial effluents that get released into this lake from the surrounding Uppal and Nacharam industrial areas. And the right side you see is the green algal bloom that is totally covering the lake. The eutrophication levels are so high that it has been declared ecologically dead for quite some time. And again, some efforts are being put in to revive the lake, but they're not fully on. Yes. So, is this lake talk all about, grim and grave stories about lakes and what happened to them in Hyderabad and across the world? Well, no. We have some very thriving and important examples as to how lakes that were once declared dead have been regenerated and are thriving and have a very thriving present now. For example, River Thames in London. River Thames in London is a 215-mile long river that flows through central London and Oxford. It used to provide drinking water, vegetation, and it also used to protect homes from coastal flooding. Well, the picture that you see on the left is the current state of River Thames, but this has not been the story all the time. Okay, after the industrialization, there were a lot of effluents and early sewage practices and early inefficient waste management practices have completely destroyed the lake, destroyed the river. This river, which once had vibrant biodiverse systems which supported salmon and native species like that, have been completely wiped off. And the Zoological Society of London declared the River Thames to be dead in 1957. Well, the story did not end there. If you see a beautiful picture here now, it means that it has been revived. There has been concentrated efforts by the government, by local communities, and private industries, corporates. All of them have come in together They established infrastructure where sewage treatment plants were introduced. Extensive habitat restoration efforts were done by local scientists, and community education and heavily activism was prevalent in reviving river themes. So in 2021, the Zoological Society of London has again declared River Thames to be ecologically active. River Thames is a beacon for hope for environmental scientists and community activists alike. So this is a brilliant example that says nature can heal itself if we stop destructive practices and foster biodiversity. And this is again Shongxian stream in Seoul. Recently, this stream is very much in news. The current government, along with there is a study tour that has been organized to this place, and extensively this project is being studied to implement the same model in Hyderabad. What so, why do we adopt Xiangshan stream regeneration model in Hyderabad? Well, this river is very similar to Musi River, and also this city, the Seoul city in South Korea, is an example, is a city very similar to Hyderabad. It has been inhabited for more than 2000 years, and there is a lot of influx of population along the riverside, and this river has also been totally damaged. And now in just about 2 years time, this river has been revitalized. So this project has been done in 6 phases, and there are about 7 lakh workers who have worked on this. They not only revived the stream, but they also restored historical sites like rocks and bridges. This is a total 11-kilometer tributary on the Han River, and exactly like Musi, it also flows from west to east. And what is the impact of regeneration? Well, it provides flood protection for 200 years. It supports rainfall of about 118 mm per hour. It boosted biodiversity by 39% and mitigated urban heat island effects. The property values rose by 30 to 50%, and the public transport is up by 15%. So if they can do it, we can also do it. And Musi River can also be regenerated if we regenerate about 240 to 250 lakes that are present across Hyderabad. Hyderabad's topography works on the ridge to river concept. All the lakes that are carved in the higher topography or in the elevated areas are connected to the lakes downstream. And when this downstream areas are obstructed, or you construct any property there, see, nature knows its way. It knows from where to flow to where it has to flow. So it will take its course. If there is something obstructing it, it will flow through it. So if there are about 240 to 250 lakes, and if they can be regenerated and restored, Musi regeneration is very much possible, and it's a reality. Projects like Thames River and Shongxian Stream in Seoul are brilliant examples as to how something that has been declared dead and something that cannot be regenerated are back to life again and thriving with a lot of biodiversity, native species coming back and supporting the ecology and economy alike. So this is a possible reality, but we have to come together, put in efforts, and from the government side, government has to come up with regulations and legislations to prevent harmful practices. For example, it has to, a policy change mandating that every sewage or effluent that gets released has to be treated before it's being released into the water. About 70 to 80% fresh water and 30% gray water can help a lake survive, and it can cleanse itself through its own regenerating capacity. And agencies like Hydra are enforcing these regulations, are ensuring that the encroachments or urbanization effects are not carried to the future. And NGOs play a very vital role here. Community education is very crucial in any of the environmental endeavors. Community education, spreading awareness, and the very fact that having an idea about the importance of a lake or a river and its own biodiversity and the effects or the beauty that can bring into the human life, that awareness itself can make a lot of change. And corporates can build an infrastructure, fund these projects and take it forward. And it is not just for hydrologists, ecologists, or environmentalists to play a role in lake or river regeneration. Individuals like you and me, through community involvement, can greatly enhance. We can make simple steps like reducing plastic or participating in lake cleanup drives or supporting lake conservation projects can make a huge difference in restoring lakes and bringing back the glory of Hyderabad and the planet. So, as an NGO, there are many NGOs conducting lake cleanup drives across the city. You can join any of them. We also run a cleanup project under the name Project Blue Wave. You can join us too if you are close by. And finally, I would want to conclude by saying that community involvement, public education, and being aware of the importance of biodiversity and healthy rivers and lakes can create a sustainable future for cities and in turn planet. And it is very much doable. Well, I conclude my talk and thank you so much for patiently listening throughout, though there have been technical glitches. Sorry for the inconvenience. And thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. That was a information-packed session. It's a need of the hour. That is what I feel. And before we move on to the question and answer session, I guess there will be more questions today. Already they are popping in the chat box. I would like request the audience to take 30 seconds to answer a poll. And the purpose of the poll is to understand you a little better so that we can get you better topics. We can tailor future topics according to your interests. And to also know about your understanding of the session. Yeah, the poll is live now. You can take 1 minute or 30 seconds to answer it. And meanwhile, thank you. I thank all the audience who have joined us today and our speaker, Ms. Padmaja Garu, for taking your time to grace this event, ma'am.
My pleasure.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So we have, ma'am, you can stop sharing your screen. We have Mr. Shaibal Chatterjee who has raised his hand. So you can unmute and ask your question. Hello, sir. Can you hear us?
Hello, madam. Hello, madam. Am I audible?
Yes,
sir,
you
you are.
Yeah. The session has been very nice and very informative. Okay, thank you for that sharing this, and the awareness has to be created. And thanks to Biswa Seva for creating this awareness in a society as large. Okay, thanks again. Okay. This is my sharing from the webinar which I have been going through for last 15 minutes or so. And the query of mine is how can we dictate the government to take the corrective steps for take the measures to stop encroachment or any polluting lakes and anything like that. We are this is a suffering for a entire living organisms and the planet Earth. The video was very nice. The Mother Earth or the planet Earth has to be saved. It's for our future generation to come and get the goodness of the this planet Earth or the Mother Earth that has.
Sir, if I may rephrase your question, you are saying how do we
How
convey
can
our
this
message to the government, right?
yeah, and how they can take the corrective steps. Actually, the people are we human beings are at the fault of doing the mistakes of destruction of this natural resources.
Sir, one thing is people or the common man are very powerful.
Yeah,
We
that's what I am into. How to you have taken a steps. So how greater steps can be taken because this is a cause that is doing problem to entire generations of ours and the future which is coming up.
Okay. Well, let me answer your question, sir. One
Yeah.
thing is, with the current government, we don't need to give a strong message that save our lakes. Okay. They're not just clearing encroachments, but they've also started regenerating the lakes. For example, in Errakunta and Kukatpalli, regeneration efforts are already on. What you and I as individuals can do is strengthen the movement, join
Okay.
cleanup drives. We can take
Yeah.
small efforts. See, small efforts, James Clear once said, small efforts lead to transformational results.
I
For
agree, ma'am.
example, for example, our own household grey water every day that goes out is full of detergents, is full of chemicals, harmful chemicals that are not just harming the underground water, but also creating havoc in the aquatic ecosystems. So small steps like switching to bioenzymes, switching to natural cleaners, and avoiding soaps or toothpaste that have microbeads in them. Imagine if one household is creating 100 liters of water a day, and there are about 100 flats in a community. And imagine the impact we can create. So
Yeah.
individual actions do lead to, transformational results. And giving up single-use plastic,
Yeah.
in principle,
This
following
is
it with a
what
lot of integrity. So
this
these
is what I
actions will do have a ripple effect in conserving lakes.
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Small steps has to be taken. So are we going for this that Viswa Seva can make a small groups in various places as such. So we can make a awareness in a society as large can happen, and this
Yes,
small step can proceed us towards safeguarding these things like Thames you told, and the lake in Seoul that I'm currently getting out the name.
So Vishwa has already declared to make Hyderabad a zero waste city by 2027.
Thank you,
So
ma'am.
plans are being made, and there are people in the different committees who are planning to first act on various stages. And by 2027, we may have our expected results.
We
But
can have an
it definitely needs support from all the citizens of the city, sir. It cannot be done by just the NGOs or governments alone.
never.
Yeah.
It has to be
so you asked
society to
about
come up.
lake cleanup groups. There are groups. You can get in touch with Radhika or me. My number has
Okay.
been shared. So yeah, let's move on to other questions.
This is nice
Thank
of
you.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So we have a question from Miss Pramila Raj. What were our Indians doing for water before Mughals?
Before Mughals, also Indians were consuming water. We had riverbanks, there were lakes carved out. But since our existing lakes, we relate to them that are there from 14th or 15th century. So that is why the reference has been drawn to Qutub Shahi dynasties, and after that, The subsequent dynasties have built in, and the Nizams have actually understood the geography, topography, and the natural gravity flows of Hyderabad, and that's how lakes were designed. Probably you cannot visibly see the interconnectedness, but for example, look at Nacharam Cheruvu. That Pedda Cheruvu flows into Nalla Cheruvu in Uppal, and from there it goes to Nagol, reaches Musi, and Musi goes to meet Krishna in Nalgonda district, and that goes into Vijayawada. So we cannot see, it was envisaged to build a bus station in the Uppal Cheruvu Lake. Imagine what would have happened if there is a bus station in the lake. Already the lake has shrunk by 83%. Only 15% of the lake is remaining. And even if that is gone, urban flooding, encroachments, you know the story.
Yeah. We have Mr. Shmuel raised his hand. Shmuel, you can unmute and ask your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. You hear me?
Yes, Shmuel.
Okay. I want first very interesting presentation. I too very interested in the subjects of environment, ecology, and protection the nature. And I want to ask you next question. What importance of lakes for resolution problems of poverty and for improvement social well-being?
So are you asking how lakes impact the lives of poor and socially backward people? Is that your question, Shmuel?
Yeah, my question is what importance of lakes for the resolution problems of poverty and the improvement social well-being? This is my question.
Okay. Did you get the question, ma'am?
Can you just repeat?
He's asking how does the importance of lakes affect affects the poverty and
Okay.
improve the
what is
socially backward people.
Hi, Shmuel. Nice talking to you for the second time. Thanks for connecting from a very far off land. Well, yes, lakes do affect communities, local communities, because local communities are the one which are closest to the lakes, and people like fishermen. Example, you take Chilika Lake. From generations together, for more than 15 generations, fishermen folk have been surviving on fish and prawn fishing from the Chilika Lake. And now rich farmers and traders have come in and they're pushing them apart. And the government is intervening to protect their rights. So lakes do have a very important role. In fact, they are the lifeline for a lot of people, for almost all of us, and hence civilizations thrived. So definitely lakes do have an effect on the local community. And also they determine the groundwater storage, the quality of water, the quality of air that we breathe in. Everything is determined by lakes around us, because lakes are complex ecosystems. They're not just mere water bodies. They're not just for water needs. They are beyond that. They support economy and ecological and health benefits for all of us.
Hope that answered your question, Shmuel.
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. So we have Mr. Black Waste Management Foundation. So you can unmute and ask your question. Sir, can you hear us?
Yeah, I am hearing. I don't know how it is. My name comes under Black Waste Management kind of thing. My name is Kedar Chaudhary. I am from a non-profit in Odisha, and we are working with three themes, aligning three themes. One is livelihood resilience, another is gender, another is climate action. So we are aligning all these three things, and I have the part of different river rejuvenation groups and cleaning the local ponds and water bodies. So what I have felt that whatever the civil society we are doing, we are a small NGO. Whatever the civil society are doing in different parts of the country for no have clean water. So one is there is a gap in the knowledge whatever is happening all over the world. So we have to bridge that gap. Everybody should know what is that. Just Padmaji told about bioenzyme. How many people know about bioenzyme? My organization has experimented in our area bioenzyme in our household, and then depolluting the ponds and all. So we are doing that. We are into a lot of other things like organic farming, then this water harvesting, then plastic free. Those networks and those forums are there. We're working in that. But
Yes,
we
sir.
have very
You have typed in your question in the chat box. Is that your question, sir?
yes. Actually, the community can demonstrate something, but actually the municipalities, the people who are making plans and other things, they have to understood this. We can demonstrate only. We cannot have resources to do everything in the in our country or the state. We have to demonstrate. And one of my take is that we need to connect through this type of interactions and know whatever is happening, how Thames was reclaimed, how this thing is happening. So that knowledge has to be spread through this kind of our networks and our regular discussions and sharing. So I appreciate that, and I thank Visa and Padmaji, CJ Rotarian. I am also a Rotarian from Bhubaneswar. So I have
Glad to
dual
know.
responsibility of working in my organization and contributing to my club in Bhubaneswar. So I'll be happy to connect with and learn more on this aspect so that it will enhance my effectivity in my area. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have Mr. Prasad Surpanani who has raised his hand.
Yeah, thanks, ma'am. It was very comprehensive, very well explained. It's a vast subject. So I just ask you a few questions. You can answer that maybe briefly. Maybe we can take it offline later on. One is, first thing is, I was wondering how this saltwater lake and a freshwater lake. You had given an example of a wonderful example of a saltwater lake, which was really giving so much of biodiversity. You just explained, which had vanished in Iran and all. I was just thinking about our own Kolleru Lake in Andhra Pradesh, which is the largest freshwater lake, which also has met with a very bad fate, I'm sure. So, how is the difference between a freshwater lake and a saltwater lake in terms of attracting biodiversity? I'm just curious to know. Second thing is, I am a life member of the Society to Save the Rocks. In fact, yesterday I was in a meeting where our Hydra Commissioner was invited by the society and he was addressing. So it was wonderful to listen to him, giving us some very good positive vibes and all. So I wanted your views, just like you mentioned that the lakes are part of a complex ecosystem. I'm sure you will agree that the rocks, the plants, trees, shrubs, the forests, as well as the lakes. So rocks, trees, and the lakes, they're all part of ecosystem. So what do you think about the rocks' significance as part of the ecosystem within the lakes? I mean, these are a few things which I want to have your views. And like I said, we can take it. You can explain briefly because I know paucity of time, but maybe for everybody's benefit, you can reflect a little on that. Thank you.
Yes. So, lakes and rocks are a part of one family. So, they cannot exist independently and they have been weaved together for a purpose. Rocks, I'm only guessing, sir. I really don't have in-depth knowledge about rocks, but then they are also a part of ecosystems and they support, see, all are its origin from rocks. Okay, whatever rocks have been, over millions and billions of years have been either through wind or through water erosion. And this is the reason how the, rocks determine a particular area's soil type. For example, ours are laterite soils. Okay. And this soil is determined majorly because of the rock formation. And soil and lake are again interconnected. So all of them are not standalone systems, but they are a complex web of ecosystem that support each other and that make life, thriving in a particular system. So definitely rocks and lakes are connected. Rocks also have to be saved. I participated in a few of your, rock, save the rock drives, walks. That was during, my college or some time back. So I really appreciate the kind of excellent work that you're doing. And of course, they are connected and they are integral and they're crucial for the existence of Hyderabad as it had been before. And they're also natural barriers to, dry winds, and they also help in groundwater recharge. There's a lot of biodiversity that thrives under the rocks as well. So, and hence they are all the, amphibians. For some time they're under the rocks and sometime in the water. So they support terrestrial, they support amphibian, they support aquatic life. So they are interconnected, sir. That's my view on it.
Thank you. Thank you for a lovely answer. I know the limited time, but you gave a very comprehensive answer. Of course, I did ask you another question, but something which is, I just want to have your views. Just it's a spin-off from your, from what other people also put in the chat box. See, this Hydra, when they're taking some action, affirmative action. See, what there is one school. There are people who say, why do you like when you talk with reference to Musi? One school of thought is let's get the STPs working in order. Let's go ahead with more number of STPs. Do you think that the STPs are going to be a solution to this rejuvenation of Musi or anything? I think that's just a part of the whole thing. I think that bigger I think it's that's. What's your view on that? Yeah.
So you have the answer with you. STPs are only a part of the solution. They can't be a solution in themselves. There are many successful lake regeneration models which are working without STPs at all. There are some floating islands and there are other concepts that are being used to filter the water. Again, STPs are water specific. Where are you installing the STPs? Which are the entry points? What are the point sources, non-point sources of pollution which need to be filtered out? So if it is just domestic grey water, you don't really need STPs. So STPs are a part of the solution, but for a lake to thrive and get back to its original, original glory and original self-cleansing capacity, STP will play one role, rather a key role, but there are other things that need to be done: sledging, desilting, sloping, many other things. and also avoiding stone pitches for soil erosion, rather build native species around it. So that there's a lot of science and commonsensical things that go into it. And yes, STP is one amongst the solutions. And there is
Thank
no
you.
one size fits all concept for lake regeneration. Every lake is unique. Like every human is unique, every lake is unique, every ecology is unique. So that's the beauty of this planet.
We
That's
got to
my
remove,
view.
I think we got to remove the encroachments.
Of course.
I mean, let me say that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. See, now we complain about encroachments. If we do not remove them, when it pours, when in Hyderabad, they say if it rains, it pours. So there's water inside the house, and you will again say we are not being taken care. There's so much flooding. So solution has to begin somewhere.
Okay, thank you. Anyway,
Yeah.
you can leave out the other questions because I think others are waiting. And one more
Yes.
question, you can ignore it. Maybe we can take it offline about the freshwater, saltwater. You can
Sure, sir. We'll take it offline.
just ask the question. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. We have question from Mitra De. How to deal with the construction work and its impact on lakes like Nallagandla Lake, Animpet Lake?
Ma'am, you're asking specifically about construction waste, or you're talking about encroachment and constructions in FTL and buffer zone, something like that. Is it that? Can you clarify? Okay, let me answer as I understand the question. If you
Okay.
have to handle construction debris, the most common and easy solution is to put it close to a landfill or an open space or the lake. Lake is a victim for everything. Ganesh, imagine it's a victim. You want to offer something to God, it is victim. For your ancestors, it's a victim. Construction debris also lake is going to take. But then that's not the right way to dispose construction debris. There are organizations that are taking in construction debris and are using it for other purposes. So you can just Google them, whichever is near to you, you can call them. Of course, it comes at a cost. That's the reason why it is dumped at very cheap option of a lake, but it is not at all right. So you can get in touch with any of the organizations that handle construction debris. Also, I want to use this platform to tell you that any of your waste, be it plastic, books, footwear, construction debris, or your mattresses, everything, most of it can be recycled, and you can reach out to recyclers in your area. The list is very much available just at at your fingertips. You can Google whichever is closest to you. You can schedule a pickup, ask them to pick it up.
We have a question from Afros. Blue Wave, can you share upcoming events and any website or social handle to subscribe?
So I am typing in my number. This is my number, sir. You can get in touch with me. This is our Insta handle. You can get in touch with us. Yes, we do cleanups very regularly. And we collect waste, we segregate waste and send them to authorized recyclers. So you can get in touch with us. We'll be very happy to, volunteer together.
Yeah. There's a question. What about small pond reservoirs which are built for agriculture purpose with polythene sheets, say 2000 to 3000 or maybe 5000 to 10,000 square feet? Is this advisable, or what best can be done, or can it be called as small lakes?
See, rivers, lakes, ponds, or in Telugu, if I may say, cheruvu and kunta. These are all small lakes and nothing but kuntas. It's always advisable to not use plastic because it will gradually leach into water. It is, it is injecting slow poison. Even if you're using for agricultural purposes, it will slowly leach into the water. And there's something called biomagnification. It enters the plant and we consume the leaves. Even if we don't consume, cattle, livestock grazing happens and it enters the milk, and that milk enters us through breast milk it is entering babies. So it is suggested to not go for that method, or rather you can, create artificial lakes. Hydrologists are available, or, you can experiment. If it's a small farm, you can experiment yourself. Avoiding anything that is plastic into this system is always advisable and better, not just preserving our health, but also the ecological health. Also, I want to cover one aspect here. All of us know Nallakunta, right? Nallakunta.
Yes.
Most of us are from Hyderabad. Where is the Kunta? Where is the Kunta in Nallakunta? It's gone. So again, Somajiguda tank. Somajiguda tank is, there's no tank in Somajiguda, but Somajiguda tank was one of the largest tanks in Hyderabad. Masip tank is again Ma Sahib tank. Where is the tank in Masip tank? It's gone. So if we do not wake up now, if we do not act now, it will be too late to act. So we have success stories. We can feel motivated and save these lakes, not for lake's sake, but for our own selves. Yeah.
Yeah. We have a question from Mr. P. Sridhar. What are the natural cleaners and bird attractive plants suggesting southern Indian lakes?
You're saying, you're asking what can be the plants that attract birds, right?
Yes.
Sir, any flower and fruit bearing native species are good for lakes. They not only hold water, but they provide, bees and butterflies get attracted to flowers. So they are the key pollinators. And if we plant, I'm a strong advocate of not planting crotons along the dividers or roadsides, because they're of no use. They neither have huge branches where they can host biodiversity. They neither have flower bearing trees that attract pollinators or fruits. So just our native species are good enough. Don't go for plantation like eucalyptus, but our own native species. Also, planting these species on the river buns will help in soil erosion problem also.
We have Mr. Vasant Kumar Mysore who has raised his hand. So you can unmute and ask your question.
Yes, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Namaste, Adhika, and also Padmaja. You have really hit the nail on the head of most of these policymakers. See, there are so many things that are not being done by the policymakers. You mentioned about fish being dead and floating. It's because of the pollution, toxicity. One of the root causes for this is the waste that is flowing through the city areas into the drains and ultimately reaching the water bodies. This is they are very peculiar, and in Bangalore also, not only Hyderabad, in most cities, particularly in Bangalore, which is supposed to be the garden city and a very clean city also. Unfortunately, the most of these rainwater drains contain sewage lines built right in the center of the streams, and some of them get damaged. And an easy way of disposing sewage is through one of these systems. This is terrible, and ultimately, what happens is it goes to the water bodies. There are many lakes in Mysore, particularly where I'm residing. There is Kukrali Kere, that's what it means, Chiru in the Telugu, and Karanji Lake, and in Bangalore we had this Kempambudi Lake, which was the largest right in front of the railway station. All those things have vanished now. Most of the lakes have been encroached upon, debris have been filled, and these are all stating the obvious. What I'm saying is, take for example, toxification of lake water, and along with the dirty waters, we find billions of cigarette filters, particularly cellulose acetate cigarette filters, which are non-biodegradable and which are never collected by the waste paper managers. And there is no proper clear-cut policy to handle that particular deadly waste. And these dead fish are a replica of what I'm saying. That is how things are. What are your views on disposing such toxic waste?
Sir, when typically we do cleanup drives, we collect glass separately, we collect cigarette butts separately, cloth separately, and MLPs separately, and the rest of the plastic separately. And we are tied up with a few recyclers. All the multi-layered plastic is very expensive to recycle, and hence it is sent to waste to energy plants or to cement plants, and the rest of it goes for recycling. They either do it themselves or they give it to somebody else. But it's a very sad state that lakes are a hub for anti-social or anti-cultural miscreants. So at times, we even often people say, "Arey, don't go venture out to the lakeside in the evenings," or it is not a good place to go. So that is a sad state where the lakes have degraded themselves. So my views on that is that whenever a cleanup drive or anything is being done, please tie up with recyclers who will handle these lakes, this collected waste judiciously and put it to where it belongs. And of course, the main ideology behind conducting cleanup drives is to bring in environmental consciousness among citizens. Not that, 4 cleanups and the lake is clean and it is back to its previous glory. It's not that. But once you participate in a cleanup drive, you will think twice where to litter, when to litter, and what are the disadvantages of littering and what is the cause that it is creating. And we will begin to search for a trash bin or keep it with us until we find a trash bin to deposit. So that's my take on it, sir.
I do understand these are all wishful thinkings, but what is the practicality that's going on? People are not being responsible. They are totally irresponsible in the litter. My suru, it says, that's mine. Suru means chat. That kind of, they want their houses to be clean. They don't mind throwing anything and everything at the street corner. Are they not being irresponsible? They want their houses to be clean, but they don't want the city to be clean. This kind of awareness we are creating day in and day out. But still, the dirty habit continues. It's unfortunate that we will have to improve our good thoughts, not bad thoughts. And we are actually borrowing our future generations' resources. We are misusing everything that is scarce. Unfortunately, I don't have to say more on this. You people are there to take care because it's your future and you are the future. Thank you, Vishwa. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have Mr. Black Waste Management who has raised his hand. So you can unmute and ask your question.
Hello.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I had put my question. You have already answered few of it. Actually, I am raising one, a forest farm in Solapur district in Maharashtra, in my mother's name, and that's where the question was. It's very scarcity of water is there, and that's why I need to increase some water source there. And all over in that area, we see this polythene bags and all those things. So I just wanted to ask, and in your answer, you said that key not to be used. But if I don't use it, how do I, retain that water in that lake? Because I need to use it for raising those my plants for that. So what is the next option? Without that, how can I do it? Or because if something else is to be used, then there is a cost. And then how do I go about it? Is there anyone who can, guide us, help us in that, raising this 2 acres of land? Because there is no forest at all in our area. It's so hot, everything, So I just need one place that at least people can come in there and, just feel that birds and all those things. So I'm already last 2 years I'm working on that. I have totally 14 acres. Slowly, I want to develop that, but I'm alone and I don't have any source to get in funds or something. I'm not an asker, to be frank. So this water is the main thing which I'm looking for, and how can you help us in that? And other than if for small ponds like 5,000 square feet or more than that, if I can build in, how can I in a low cost this thing, or how can I retain water in that? That's my most important this thing point in terms. Please put light on this, please.
So firstly, congratulations on this endeavor of turning a desert into a biodiverse rich system. So initially, until you grow plants to a certain age, you will definitely require water. So if naturally there is no water source nearby, nature has a reason to it, and the topography and the geography is a certain type. So choose plants that conserve less water and can thrive in less water for longer times. And if you're saying you cannot dig a bore well and there's no water nearby, the only solution is to carry water and do whatever you're doing right now. But probably in 10 to 12 years time, when the plants grow a certain age and you dig a bore well, there will definitely be some water source that you will find close by. If you're creating a forest in 2 acres, for example, in Miyawaki forest, we have seen that underground storage has improved just in 5 to 6 years time. So in your case also, I am assuming that in 10 years, depending on the kind of species that you grow, native species and water retaining plants that you grow, there will definitely be some surge of water nearby, and hence it can become sustainable in the future.
Actually, for this particular 2 acres, I have already a well there, and I'm surviving on that. I need to expand that area, so I need to make some preparation right now. For that purpose, I was actually searching how do I increase that. So, if you by any chance, if you have any other options later on, how can you help us out in this? Please do let us know.
Sure, sir. You can probably get in touch with a hydrologist or some Miyawaki forest creators in your areas, because they are working on concepts like this, and they can give you a solution that fits into your problem exactly.
Yeah, because we are planting all native, like people, all the native plants, like neem and all this thing. I have already bigger trees of from earlier, around 10, 12 bigger trees are there. No, it has already grown into a forest-like thing.
Very
And
nice.
yeah, so that's okay. Thank you so much, and thanks, Vishwa.
Thank you, sir. Before we move on to the final question, I would like to talk about our upcoming talks. Yeah. We have a talk on bioenergy by Mr. Colonel Monish Ahuja, who is Chairman and Managing Director of Prespel. He is into sustainability and businesses related to sustainability. Yeah, this is on 2nd November 2024, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Zoom. And the next talk we have is on stepwell restoration. We have Mr. Arvind from Gandipet Welfare Society, who has worked extensively on stepwell restoration. And this picture that you're seeing on screen is one of the stepwells of Hyderabad, which was before and after restoration. Of course, there was lot of trash and other debris in the stepwells. It was semi-clean maybe when they took this picture. So he's going to talk about why stepwells are important and how do we preserve them and how do we restore them. And this is on 9th of November 2024, 11 a.m. The registration links will be in the chat box. Whoever is interested can register through the links. Yeah. I think we have come to the end of the session. We have a question by Nisha. Black Waste Management, have you considered wastewater recycling for your plantations? Maybe this question is for our previous participant. Yeah. We have a question from Mitra De. Polythene is used in markets extensively. Why is it not banned? We have a lot of acknowledgements for your talk, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I have a query from my side in the last. You said that the lake in Orissa is a spot for migration for many of the bird species and other things. So once it shrinks or if it disappears, what would the birds, I mean, where would they go?
So this is happening across the lakes in the world. If the hotspots are not there, if the water bodies are not present, their habitats are lost, and hence their numbers are dwindling. At one time, what was on IUCN's least concerned list is moving to endangered and critical list. So this means that habitat loss is killing many of the birds. Where will they go? They will not have a place to go. It's a winter stopover. They will not, to escape the harsh and fires, snowstorms, or the winds in Central Asia, they migrate all the way to Chilika Lake. And if this is not there, and if this is getting polluted, they will come, but few of them will die. And their numbers will dwindle slowly. That's how the entire ecosystem is getting affected. That's how they're moving from just a least concerned or a threatened status to an endangered status. So the numbers will come down.
So we have a question from Mitra De. Ma'am, polythene is used in markets extensively. Why is it not banned? Is her question.
Sir, no comments on why is it not banned, but I can tell you what we can do to avoid single-use plastic. Whenever we leave our home, just carry one small bag along with you, a cloth bag with you. It just rolls into a small purse or your own pocket. So that way we can avoid plastic instead of, start questioning why is it available in the market. It's if it is available, I want to use it. Rather, you take a resolve for yourself that you are not going to use it. And, during festivals or, you carry a small goodie bag with your own small collapsible mug or a tumbler and your own bag. It will create a lot of, impact. When people are watching you do it, the next time they will start doing it. Earlier, even I used to feel a little shy to carry my own bag, or, the vendors are very, they just put everything in a polythene bag and hand it over to you, even before you tell them that you have a bag with you. So once you go to a local market to buy and they see you one or two times, there are others who will follow suit. Out of experience, I'm telling you, this actually works. So instead of, asking why somebody else is not banning, why somebody else is not doing what they're supposed to do, let us focus on what we can do and what is in our hands.
So before we close, we have a last question from Santosh Sharma. Ma'am, any case studies or success stories of lake rejuvenation in Himalayan ecosystem?
Success stories, we mostly hear from Bengaluru, Anand Malligawad, who's the lake man of India. And there are, success stories are yet to be seen. They at least take, 20 to 30 years to fully judge if a lake is, back to its original regenerating capacity or not. But yes, there are NGOs, there are government agencies, the government itself is taking certain steps like setting up infrastructure support and, promoting sustainable tourism in Himalayan regions, but we are yet to see the results. And I hope you and I be a part of such successful stories. Let us participate and create success stories.
So we have Pradeep Yerra who is requesting us for a question. Sir, we have unmuted you. Can you ask your question?
First of all, Padmaja garu, it is a very good, insightful session. So lot of participants are asking like, why can't why government is not taking an action. So first thing is change has to start from us. Instead of going to government and asking, hey, when can you change? You as a citizen, you have an equal role to play in the community. So, like you said that carrying a cloth bag is essential. Carrying your instead of plastic water bottle, you can carry steel or any other thing, sustainable things. So, one of the thing is it's not about the government's participation; it's the civics responsibility participation too, which is actually lacking. And as an NGO or any other individuals providing an education that is environmental education if you start at the school level, because a child, when you know about hey, you should not stop using plastic only, then he will know that okay, plastic is ecologically damage to the environment and animals, then we should stop using it. So that could change a transformative change, because I see that many of them are asking government is not doing, people like why this is happening. Instead of questioning the government, we be the change, we can do that, then definitely a transformative change will happen. And no, like many of the environmental initiatives can be coming in India, because many of the people are done in an individual capacity basis too. They have been seeing success too. So that was my perspective. Thank you. Thank you, Radhika, Vishwatalk, and Padmaja garu for the session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you,
much.
sir. Yeah. We will also share Padmaja ma'am's email ID to your registered email IDs, sir. And yeah, we can close the session. And I thank all the audience who have joined us today, and our speaker Padmaja garu for taking your time. It was very useful session. It was wonderful, ma'am. Very insightful discussions between the audience and you. And I would request you to join in breakout room.
Thank you, Vishwa, and thank you all the audience for joining. I wish to see you all, participate in many of the cleanup drives or whatever little ways in which we can. Thank you so much.